What's up, mamas? I'm Rebecca. You're watching the Reseller Mom Show. Thank you for joining me today for a very anticipated video. I mentioned it and kind of like inadvertently teased it quite some time now. This is my clearance video. So if you saw a while back, I did a major clearance of over 500 items. Some were bad buys, some were just things that didn't sell that should have. And so I clearanced them out, and I did it in a lot of different ways, and I kept saying, I'm going to make a video, I'm going to make a video, and I'm just getting to it now. And it's really more because I wanted to do it again and kind of fine tune some of the ways that I did it so that I was sharing the best information with you, and so that I felt like I had a handle on it as a best practice for me. So this is my clearance video. If you have inventory that's piling up that hasn't sold, you know, it's listed but it hasn't sold, and you're kind of just figuring out how you can maybe deal with some of the sins in sourcing from the past, this video is for you, so stay tuned. And I'm doing this on my computer, not on my phone, so I'm not doing all kinds of edits. I'm just kind of, let's just do this. So my husband's got Geo, they're doing sports outside, and so this is my time. I hope you can understand. So what I'm gonna do is I've got 5 tips, just kind of like general overarching tips, and then I have 7 steps. So if I were you, I would stay tuned to all of it. I would like for you to stay tuned to all of it. That's helpful to me and to the channel, but I do think it's good to kind of get the full picture of what I'm trying to say. So the 5 tips are, number 1, be ruthless in your review for removals. So I talk about being ruthless often, and I'm kind of an intense person. So I say ruthless, I mean ruthless. Like sometimes you just need to go through and not think about it too much and just be like, no, get this out of here, no. And sometimes you need to physically do it. And for me, I actually went through on the computer and went through my Poshmark closet and just kind of marked items that I wanted to get rid of, items that I knew were there too long. If you have a spreadsheet and you know how long an item's been listed for, you can go by date of when you listed it. At the time that I did my first clearance, I didn't have that available to me, so it was kind of like review everything and say thumbs up or thumbs down. And so I just think if you're gonna go through, if you're at the point where you know that you need to remove lots of items from your inventory, because either it's a space issue, you're sick of looking at them, or you need to just quick kind of clearance out and get some cash flow going, whatever the reason behind it is, you're going to go through a bunch of steps. You're going to do work, and it's going to be work that's not in your normal system. It sells online, you ship it. It sells online, you ship it. Like that's your normal process. Once you take something out of that system, if you're going to do any of the steps that I'm going to outline here, it's other different work, and it doesn't happen overnight either. It's like a couple of processes that need to happen step by step. And so you should just do it once and then not do it for quite some time. So like I did it earlier in the year, and then now I just kind of did a mini one. I didn't do a big one. I did a mini one because I'm coming up on the end of the year. I want to get some things off my books before the end of the year. And I thought that this last local clearance sale that I did, which I'll go over with you, was my last opportunity to do it. So that's why I kind of did like a second mini one. I think doing it twice a year is good. So be ruthless when you're pulling out items and identifying items that you want to clearance out. And then as I talk about it, I guess you'll understand what I mean by clearancing things out. But just to say, it means taking them out of your inventory and then possibly selling them in another way to get as much as you can for them, but less than you had them listed for, so that you can get the space back, get some cash flow going, just get rid of them. Clearance. Sorry. So create criteria and stick to it is my next tip. For me, that's what I have in place now, is just kind of like a set of criteria. Like either it's been listed in your store for over a year and hasn't sold, or it's of a certain dollar amount and hasn't sold, or certain brands you're just going to not carry anymore. Like in my first clearance, I said anything that's Old Navy is gone. And yes, I had Old Navy things in my closet. So anything Old Navy was gone. I'm trying to think of what other brands I did. There were a couple of brands where I was like, that's it. If this brand is still in my store, it's going. So I would come up, before you even are ruthless in your review process, is just kind of come up with what criteria you would like to set for yourself, whether it's age of the item, brand of the item, price you have it listed for, whatever other criteria you can think up. Make some criteria, stick to it, be ruthless about it, and use that as you're pulling items out. The next thing is try to sell online first, even if it's super cheap, even if you're barely making money on it or just breaking even on it or whatever, even perhaps at a loss. I mean, because your system is to sell online. You have everything listed online. If you can do a few quick things that will get you to sell it online, that's going to be the least path of resistance because you're already used to having something sell and shipping it out. It's already been listed. You don't need to do anything else offline in order for that system to go. So if it can sell online, that's the most efficient way for you to clearance out an item. May not be the most profitable perhaps, but it's the most efficient way because you already have something in your system. And at least that's how I feel about it for me. Like, I've sent it through a photographer, I've sent it through a virtual assistant to get listed. It is now listed online. It's in the proper inventory. So all I have to do is run a sale, offer some things, do whatever. We're going to go over what those online options are, do some online things so that it will sell, and all I have to do is ship it. Whereas if I say I'm going to take it out of inventory, things need to happen, and then I need to physically then sell it locally somehow, and those are other things that need to happen. So that's a lot more work. So try to sell it online if you can first. Next tip overall is to identify what, if any, are your offline options to sell. I'm going to go over some things that probably can apply to everyone and you can do some version of it, but for some reason, if those are not available to you, then really online is your only option, and then you need to maximize that. And maybe a clearance is not the right thing for you and you just need to pull them out and donate them or something. So identify before you get started with the whole thing what your offline options are. And again, like I said, we'll go over them in a second of what I consider them, what I've done. And if you have them, then go forward. But if you don't have them, or they're not right for you, or it's not convenient for you, then reevaluate if this is what you want to do as a whole project. Sorry if that was like weird. Next is, and I'm looking at my notes. What does this say? Create a maintenance system for post clearance. So that's kind of where I'm at right now, and why this last kind of mini clearance was a lot easier for me, because when I did the first clearance of 500 items in one time, I learned a lot of lessons. I learned just the whole thing because it was the first time I'd ever really done it. And so after that, I put in some specific things that would help prevent that buildup from happening again. And in one of the last videos I've done, which I'm pretty sure it's live now, is my inventory management system. And I don't mean physical inventory like bins and numbers. I mean how I manage inventory as a whole, the age of the item, and what I do from when it's listed through when it's listed through a year. And that system is a result of doing the clearance the first time. So if you're curious about that and how to create a maintenance system for yourself and an overall process, I would check that video out. I really can't wait to say cards are up there, but I know how to do it. I figured it out. I just don't ever go back and do it because then you have to figure out where I set it, and it's like a whole thing. So, if you're going to do a clearance, maybe even before you start, I would just give a little thought to making a maintenance system for yourself so that you don't run into the same problems again, and that you just have to do this very overwhelming task again soon. And maybe yours isn't as bad. I was well over 2,000 items. Then I got rid of about 500 items. And then I kind of was even a little bit more from there, like pulling things out little by little after the initial purge. And so I went down to about 1,200 items. Now I'm inching back and I'm about 1,400. And I've had good sell-through since then. And so I feel like I'm kind of staying at around 1,400. Again, ideally, and I've said this a few times, I'd like to be at 1,000 or 1,200 items. I really don't want a giant store. I feel like it's manageable for me to deal with 1,000 or 1,200 items, but I'm okay in creeping back up to 500 and then maybe going down a little bit and then creeping back up. Also, I'm getting more and more time and my processes are getting better, so perhaps I would be able to manage more items, like a 2,000 item store again, how it is now versus how it was before when I had 2,000 items. It was all like crazy town. So, sorry. this went away and now I don't have my notes. So yes, create a maintenance system for yourself so that you can prevent the buildup from happening again. So whether that's stricter sourcing criteria for yourself, or your sell-through and watching the age of the item, and if something is listed over a certain period of time, you automatically get rid of it, but over time, little by little. So there's all sorts of things that you can do there. If you have questions about that, put it in the comments below, because I can always do a follow-up video to this based on the questions that you guys have. I'm always happy to do that. Sometimes I don't know what you wouldn't know, and so I'm making it based on what I think I can tell you about what I've done, but maybe you guys have questions that I'm not thinking of and not addressing, although I'm anything but, intense and thorough, as you may have noticed. So, all right, so those are the overall arching tips. Now let's get into the steps. There's 7 steps. So the first step, obviously, is to identify what items, be ruthless, be encompassing or comprehensive, go through everything and just really use your criteria that you made for yourself. Be objective. Don't be like, oh, but this is so cute, or oh, but, just pull it out. If you think that it should be out, it should be out. If you think you shouldn't have bought it in the beginning, get it out. You can always buy more items, especially if you're a binge shopper. You can always buy more items. So use this opportunity and make the most of it. You don't want to have to do all of this work over and over and over again. So identify your items. Then the second step, which has a few sub-steps, is to clearance out as much as you can online first. So there's a couple ways you can do it, and it depends on what platforms you're on and what you're used to doing and what your prices are. So it's going to vary from person to person, but here are some thoughts. You can do a buy one, get one free sale. On Poshmark, you can do a 3 for $20 or a 5 for $25 or whatever variation on Poshmark, where you identify all of the items with a emoji or something, put a sign up, and everybody knows whatever items are included in your sale. They can bundle them for a certain amount and clearance them out that way. You can run some other kind of sale on Poshmark. You can put them all at $5 each. That's what I did for a while, is I would put them at $5 each, because I'm still getting 2, which is basically my average price. So I was just kind of like breaking even and getting rid of some things. And if I bought it at the bins, I was actually making still a little bit of money. And for some things and some people, that worked out really well. You can do a clearance section on eBay. So basically, if you have a store and you can have store categories, you can make a category called clearance, and then go through your other categories, your other items, and identify these items that you want to put in your clearance category, and just change the store category to clearance and change the price. So like I did for a while, a $1.99 clearance section. And so anything that I wanted to clearance out, that was one of the steps I did. I put it on Poshmark for $5, and then I went on eBay, put it in the clearance section, $1.99 plus shipping. And that was at the time that I was running free shipping on everything else. So there were a few that I forgot to change the shipping, and so it was $1.99 with free shipping, which really was a pain in the ass, but that was just a mistake, and I learned my lesson. So you can do it like $1.99 or however much you want, $3.99, whatever, but make it clearancey. Like, let's not get greedy here. We're clearancing. So $1.99, its own section on your eBay store plus shipping. See if that does anything, because your watchers, people will see it, like whatever. That should get rid of some items probably. The other thing you can do is the 99-cent auctions or $1.99 auctions, or auction of whatever type. I know a lot of people do auctions. Some people have asked me about auctions. I have done them. I like them. I have trouble keeping up with them, because it's good to have them start and end at night, because it's good to have them, people always say, like, start them on a Tuesday, run a 5-day, it ends on a Sunday, you're trying to do it at night. That just doesn't mesh with my life. Like, by 9 o'clock, I'm completely brain dead. I will have just gotten Gio to sleep, but he's actually not asleep. He's just in his room. I'm just finally sitting down, and then I have to, like, remember to go to my computer and start auctions. I'm not paying 10 cents to schedule them. Like, what, like, it's just too much. And then you have to pay attention, like, it sells, but you have to mark it not for sale everywhere else, but maybe they pay, maybe they don't pay. It's just, and that's the same with other things, but I just feel like with the auctions, like there's a bunch at one time, and it's just, for me right now, it's not the best way. It's too much trouble for what it's worth, especially when it's 99 cents plus shipping. Yes, it could get bid up, and some of them had. I mean, I've had some go for $4 or $5 after they got bid up or whatever, but for me, it's just not what I want to do. There is value in it. I definitely recommend doing it, and if you can manage it, great. The thing is, I had trouble with, like, when it ends, they're in your ended, and then you have to put them back over to, like, list them again for the auction, but they get mixed up with the ones that I had ended when I took them out of Buy It Now, and I had some problems with things like double selling that way. I just mismanaged it very badly, and so I just can't manage it. So that's my thought on that. So those are my ideas for, like, clearancing things online. Mark it down. Don't just take 10% off. That's not a clearance. If you walk into a store and you see 10% off, that's not clearance. And I talked about this like a long time ago. I went somewhere and it was like big clearance sale and it was like 10% off. I was like, that's not clearance. Like, clearance to me is like 70% off. Like, you need to be giving them a deal. Also, you can run a big clearance sale, but obviously don't put it on your whole store. Put it on a certain category. So let's say you made that clearance category, you could run a 70% off on that category, whatever. So that's what I would do first, and I would give that a period of time. And that's why I say this isn't a quick fix, it's a process, because you need to give things time to work. So I would identify at the beginning, maybe you're going to have a 2-week online clearance event. And so for 2 weeks after you've identified everything, you're going to try to clearance it out online first. If it doesn't happen in 2 weeks, then you're going to move to the next steps. And you can make that for a longer period of time or a shorter period of time, but I just think you should give it a little bit of time. You know, you need to be able to share the items on Poshmark. You need the sale to go through and auctions to go through on eBay. So give it a little bit of time. The next thing, the next step is to actually pull from your inventory, because now we're getting to the point where online clearance is over. We physically need to pull out the items, deal with what we have, and move them in some way locally. And so for me, I have bins and everything at a storage unit, so I had to go through all the bins, pull out the actual items, and what I did was just throw them in a pile on the floor. And then I packed them up in bins and I brought them home. Or IKEA bags. And then I had them at home, and then I realized as I'm starting to go through them, I have to go and find all these items to take them out of inventory, to physically remove them from online, like to do all this stuff. So what I would recommend is when you're taking them out of inventory, don't just mash them all in a pile. Keep them organized if you have a numbered bin system. So if you have bins A through Z and then numbers inside them, like, and then maybe you go to double letters or something, keep all the single letters together. A through M, L, M through Z. And those are 2 separate categories. And then the rest, because I matched them all together, then I couldn't find anything, and that was terrible, and it was very time consuming, and I would just caution you not to do that. Keep it organized. Even though you're pulling them out, you can mix them together a little bit, but have an organized way that you're doing it, so that when you need to go find G25, you can find G25 amidst the however many items you've pulled out. Trust me on that one. So pull them out, but organized. Then you need to remove them from online. And so I had my virtual assistant help me with this because it was a lot. So I would give her the letters and numbers and have her remove them. But you got to end your eBay listing. You've got to delete it from Poshmark, deactivate, delete it from Mercari, wherever you're selling, get it off all those platforms, get rid of it. Get the online presence gone. And so that's the 4th step. The 5th step, now I keep everything in like the plastic bags with numbers and stuff. So like I have my business card in there with the item. I have the number. This hasn't been numbered yet. And the item is inside. So I needed to undo all of that. I would do that while Gio was in the bath. I did that for days and days and days. Bring a big bin in, and while Gio was in the bath, I'd open up the bags, the business card over here, put the bag over here, put the number over there, and separate everything out. So now I have a big pile of items. I have a big pile of bags. I have a big pile of numbers, big pile of business cards. Reuse your business cards, reuse your bags. Like, do what you can to save on the fact that you've already done this. Recoup some of those resources. So undo everything. And if you don't have them done, you don't need that step, so don't worry about it. And sort it out. And you would sort it based on the things which are next, which is the offline sales options. So however you're going to sell these things in a clearance manner offline, that's how you need to source them. So I'm going to skip ahead to step number 6, which are, kind of talking about the offline sales options that I utilized, and you can identify which ones would work for you, and then that's how you would sort your inventory from there that you're clearancing. So the first thing that I would do once I've pulled it out of inventory is I bring all of it to the consignment store. I edit a few things, but for the most part, it all goes there, and I let them decide if they want anything. I have 2 of them locally for women's and 2 technically 3 for kids, but 1 I only kind of go to, and see what they'll take. And so in my first clearance, they took a lot. I mean, I made a couple $100 just right from there. I usually get paid anywhere from an average of $3 to $4 per item from the consignment store. It depends on what you have. So you can't go off of mine, but I'm just letting you know, usually in all the times that I go to the consignment store, I get about $3 to $4 for an item, which if my average cost is $2, I'm still making $1 or $2 just by bringing it there. So even though I'm clearancing, I'm still even making a little bit of profit. So consignment store first, then I identified items from there after I got everything back that they didn't take. I identified items I wanted to send in a ThreadUp. And if you watch my channel for a little while, you'd see I did a lot of ThreadUp videos and a lot of ThreadUp boxes for a little while, and that was all of the clearance stuff. So it was just items that I thought, let me try to send it into ThreadUp, let me see how it goes. Some of the boxes I did the return service, some of them I didn't. I didn't do anything luxe because I didn't have anything for luxe, so everything was regular. Took a month, from start to finish to process. Like, it was an ordeal. But for some of the things, I did get them back, whatever they didn't take, and for some of them I didn't. And so I made some money off of ThreadUp. The ThreadUp money I used to just buy more rescue boxes. You can choose to cash it out. You can choose to wait to have the items sell. I took the flat cash out. I have not done ThreadUp in a little while just because things have been hectic and I haven't had, mental energy to deal with it. So I don't know if they've changed their policies. I feel like I heard somewhere that they may have changed how they work it, but I took the quick cash out policy or the quick cash out option. I did not wait to let things sell, which was available at that time. So the next thing I did was look through everything that I had left from that and see, can I create any bundles? Do I have some LuLaRoe leggings? Do I have some kids stuff that's all the same size? Do I have 3 plus size tops that I can put together and make any bundles and either relist it online or sell it locally on Facebook in bundle format? I find selling one-off clothing items on Facebook is not what my area wants, is not beneficial to me. So unless it's a very high value item that somebody will pay $10 or more for, it doesn't make sense to sell one item locally. But I have sold bundles. I've sold kids bundles. I've sold women's bundles. I've sold lots of just random clothing, like 25 items of clothing for very cheap. So I've sold a lot of different things on Facebook. I'm kind of sour on Facebook, and sometimes it goes well and sometimes it doesn't. But if you have a good buy sell trade in your area, I would consider lots, bundles, selling things on Facebook as like your next in the hierarchy. So we started at consignment stores, then maybe you do some ThreadUp, then you create some bundles or any other ways that you can sell on Facebook Marketplace. The next thing from there that I did, which is the one thing that I just did recently, is hold a clearance sale. I have a whole video on this. You can check it out, and I have more resources coming on this. Basically, it's a garage sale. So in your area, if you can just have a garage sale, have a garage sale. I found that by marketing it in such a way, it actually worked out way better than when I've had garage sales, because I've always put clothing out at garage sales. I've never had the success that I've had with a garage sale as I did with this last clearance sale. And basically I promoted it as a local $1 clothing sale. Everything is $1. Doesn't matter what it is. Now, again, if you have only high-end stuff and you're doing a clearance, maybe $1 is not right for you. Maybe $5 is right for you. Maybe $10 is right for you. I don't know. But for me, $1 is fine to get rid of this stuff and to just get something back. And again, a lot of the stuff that now I'm left with is like the bottom of the barrel. Because if it was good, the consignment store would have taken it. If it was good, ThredUp would have taken it. If it was good, it would have sold on Facebook in a lot of some kind. Now we're talking loft, but old loft. Extra, extra small, Banana Republic, Gap, Old Navy. I mean, still fine things, perfectly fine, totally wearable. You bought it to sell online. Like, it's going to be in excellent condition. It might even be brand new with tags. But for whatever reason, it just didn't sell online and it wasn't desirable. Maybe it's just an older style. It could be anything. But now you have things that are left and it's time to sell them for $1, in my opinion. And so that's what I did. And so I've had 2 now, one in June, one in September of 2019. So I'm going to try to go forward with them quarterly. And that's why I feel like having that maintenance plan is good, because now I'm always going to have a constant flow of items that are coming out of my inventory and will funnel through these offline sales options and then be available for my dollar sale that I've now over 2 times built up a little local following. I made a Facebook page. I have a lot of people that like the Facebook page. I'm setting up events in Facebook. Like, it's a whole thing. And like I said, I have a video. Go check that out if you're curious about it. And I do have more info coming. And if you have specific questions, put them in the comments below. That will help me make better information for you. So do the dollar clearance sale. Get some cash. If that doesn't work, you can keep it for a future dollar clearance sale if you have the space. Like, now I have a couple shelves in my garage where all my other inventory is at the storage unit. Now I just have some bins in my garage. That's for the next local clearance sale, because with those things, you just never know what these people are going to buy. Like, you never know. They buy crazy stuff. And so it's like, I don't want to get rid of it and donate it, because what if next time somebody wants this weird thing that I have? So anyway, the final step, number 7, is donate it and free up your life. Say goodbye and just move on. Part ways with this item. Make peace with it. We've talked about my emotional journey with saying goodbye to items before on prior videos. Like, just do it. Just get rid of it. And I will say, I have a pile over here. I think I talked about it maybe in the last video, or maybe I've just been talking to myself about it because this pile's really been bothering me. It's not a death pile, but it's a TLC pile that it needs to be sweater shaved, it needs to be washed, it needs something going on, spot treatment, God knows what. And it's just getting bigger and bigger because I hate doing reseller laundry. I don't mind the sweater shaving, that's fine. I have a video coming out with the review of my sweater shaver. It's awesome. It's just finding the time to do something outside of my daily routine. And that's not part of my daily routine. It's like when I get a pile big enough that I can't stand it anymore, part of my routine. So, but the pile's getting crazy, and it's just like, I don't want to do reseller laundry. Like I said, the sweater shaving really isn't a big deal, but it's the laundry that I hate. I have 5 loads of laundry that I'm doing today for my family. So reseller laundry can take a hike. Anyway, so like, don't put things in piles. Don't, like, just get rid of, like, I'm about to go through this and be like, if I can't sell this for more than $30, I don't care, even if it just needs to go in the wash for a second, I'm getting rid of it, because I just can't take it anymore. I love this reselling room, but it's the walls are closing in on me with piles right now. I'm having a sorting, organizing issue. It's like, there's too many things. So my advice from experience, because we're not hoarders, we're not in the storage business, we're in the selling business. But if the thing doesn't sell, the thing's not gonna sell. If the thing should have never been bought and you've gone through an online clearance, an offline clearance, all of these steps, it's time to drop it off at the Goodwill. And the thing is, maybe there's nothing wrong with it, but it's just not the right kind of thing for it to sell online. And someone can actually walk into the Goodwill store that is on a budget that will love it. And it's up to you to go give it to them. You know what I mean? And then you spend your time and your mental energy and your effort going to find the other thing that's going to bring you a lot of money online in the business that you actually are in. Because your business is not holding on to stuff that's not going to sell. Your business is selling stuff that's meant to be sold. This is for you, but this is mostly for me. I'm saying it to myself. I'm looking at myself with the comment like, this is for me. Get rid of the things. Don't keep it forever. Don't hoard it. Let it go. Be zen about it. Put on some relaxing music with like some windpipes or wind chimes or I don't know what, and just have a ceremony about, I mean, I don't care if you burn it, but I mean, it'd be nice to donate it. Like, I think it would be good to donate it. So anyway, I don't know how you feel about that, but I donate everything back to Goodwill that I don't need or take. There are some local charities that I would like to get more into, but right now, the ease of my drop-off area to drop things off is just too good to be true. It's like I can just drop it off and go, and I don't have to think about it, and it's out of my house and out of my life. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. So this is the clearance video. I felt like I was putting it off and putting it off because it was going to be this most glorious, amazing thing. Really, it's not. It's just combining a lot of steps into one cohesive effort to say, my goal right now is to get rid of these items. I'm going to try to get rid of them online. If that doesn't work, I'm going to try to get rid of them at the consignment store. If that doesn't work, I'm going to try to send a thread up. If that doesn't work, I'm going to try to create bundles and sell them on Facebook Marketplace. If that doesn't work, I'm going to have a local $1 clearance sale. And if that doesn't work, I'm going to donate the suckers. And I think having that sort of hierarchy of sales, you know, you want to sell it online for your full price. Then you want to sell it online with an offer. Then you want to sell it online in a clearance sale. And then you just go down the line through your offline options. And again, those might vary from person to person. But if you can utilize this in a systematic way and you do it twice a year, once a year, 4 times a year, I wouldn't do it more than 4 times a year. Give your items a chance to sell, of course, and find the right buyer. But if you've been doing this a while, you will have accumulated those things that, okay, long tail just may not be the way to go anymore, and you need to just get rid of it. So I really hope that this was helpful for you. It was helpful for me to get my thoughts together again. You know, I have the system in place now. I'm going to be tweaking it, so I'm sure I'll make follow-up videos on this, but let me know what questions you have. Let me know if you have any improvements that just by watching this you think I should make, because I would love those kinds of opinions. So just let me know your thoughts. Like the video on the way out. I've been forgetting to say it again. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to for more Reseller Mom content to get more done, make more money, and stay sane while raising kids and reselling online. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!